The so-called military court of the Russian proxy Donetsk People's Republic has sentenced a Ukrainian border guard to life imprisonment. Earlier in April 2022, a Russian occupation court sentenced a Ukrainian military officer to 22 years in a high-security penal colony, and a month later, a member of the Azov battalion to life imprisonment. In the summer of 2022, the trial of 22 alleged members of the Azov battalion, 9 of whom were women, began in Rostov-on-Don. Most of them were taken prisoner after the Russian army occupied Mariupol.
From the point of view of international law, this is still a violation of the Geneva Convention on prisoners of war, and it is also a violation of the Russian Federation, which is flouting all norms of international law, including the Geneva Convention.
Russia systematically violates the Geneva Conventions. Prisoners of war are tortured and starved, they are subjected to psychological pressure and are not provided with medical care. The trials of prisoners of war are illegal. Ukraine records information about the judges who take part in them.
I am sure that there will be definitely trials in the International Criminal Court, because from the point of view of international law, it is an offense to try prisoners of war in this way, and the highest military political leadership is responsible for this, which directly decided and gave permission for such large-scale trials.
The UN Human Rights Office has previously reacted to Moscow's violation of international rules on the treatment of prisoners of war. In 2022, a so-called court of the Donetsk region, temporarily occupied by Russia, sentenced to death 3 foreign nationals who fought on Ukraine's side. The UN said that such trials qualify as a war crime.
The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights is concerned about the death sentence handed down by the so-called Supreme Court of the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic against 3 servicemen. According to the Ukrainian military leadership, all 3 served in the Ukrainian armed forces, which means that they cannot be considered mercenaries. Ravina Shamdasani, representative of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, at a briefing in Geneva.
Hearings on Ukraine's lawsuit against Russia continue at the UN International Court of Justice in The Hague. Kyiv believes that the Federation is abusing the Geneva Convention. Moscow explains its decision to launch a full-scale invasion of Ukraine by allegedly defending the inhabitants of the territories temporarily occupied by Russia against genocide.
This is a kind of a reversal of the case. We do not accuse of committing a crime, but we say that what you accuse us of is untrue and absolutely does not correspond to reality. And all your actions based on this accusation are illegal. This is what is now being considered in the UN International Court.
One of the types of genocide is the forced transfer of children from one group to another. According to the Verkhovna Rada Commissioner for Human Rights, Dmytro Lubinets, Russia has taken hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian children from the occupied territories of Ukraine. On suspicion of organizing the abduction and illegal deportation of minors, the International Criminal Court of Justice in The Hague in March 2023 issued an arrest warrant for Putin and Maria Lvova-Belova, Russia's presidential commissioner for children's affairs. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.